Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Backlash 2023 preview and predictions. We are kind of surprised that this show is already here. It feels like not that long ago that WrestleMania happened, and then Brock beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes on the post-Mania Raw, and there's been a lot of LWO versus Judgment Day buildup, and now the main event of this show isn't even going to involve Judgment Day, or isn't even going to involve, I guess, technically it is because Bad Bunny just joined LWO on SmackDown tonight, which is kind of cool, but it is a weird little show here, and it seems very much like it's meant to be a filler show because Night of Champions, the big Saudi show where they're going to crown the new world champion, is happening in, I think, like 3 weeks. So that's fun.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut right to it. I would say my hype for this is a 4, no higher than a 5, and it's not because I'm angry. It's not because the card is, whatever. It's just because this is very clearly a filler pay-per-view. Two words that honestly shouldn't really go together to me. Because if you're doing a pay-per-view, there should be worthwhile stuff on it.
See, that's where WWE tricks us, though, because these aren't pay per views anymore. They're premium live events.
Um, you know, no, not doing it because I realize this could be a very quick preview and predictions if I cut through the bullshit. So yeah, no higher than a 5. I really don't care about a lot of these matches, and even matches I do care about. I think what works against the show, and again, not in an angry way, just in a very honest way. You know who's gonna win. Like I think one match I care about most, right, is Rhea versus Zelina because Zelina is a fucking sweetheart. I think she's really good in the ring. When she's able
Yeah.
to work with people that can, work her style and stuff and her size and everything. Rhea is amazing. Love her. I'd say that and Bianca Io. So really the women's championship matches are two of the matches I care about the most because Bianca Io should be a freaking banger. But yeah, I'm not too inclined to care about the show beyond that. But I'm curious though if you think I'm being too harsh, even though again I'm not coming at this from an angry place, or if your hype is at a similar level than mine. So where are you at?
So I would put my hype closer to more of a 6, honestly. I'm a little more hyped for this than you are, apparently. I'm a little surprised that you're as low as you are with the 4. And I think the reason I'm hyped is just because I feel like we're going to get some really fun matches on this show. And, like, I guess it's also like I pay for Peacock already anyway, so it's not like I'm paying any more for this show than I would otherwise.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like if this was an actual pay-per-view and it cost people like 30 or 40 or however many dollars, I would probably put my hype level at like a 3 or a 4 like you. But like just
Yeah.
treating this like it's just like, oh, it's a WWE special on Peacock and it's happening on a Saturday night, then I'm like, yeah, I'm at like a 6 because it's gonna have a lot of fun matches on it. Like even Cody Brock, I'm low key just so curious to see how they book that match.
Yeah.
Because like everyone
Um
knows that I fucking despise Cody Rhodes, and he's very clearly gonna be the face in this match. Which like, is this gonna be furthering his fall from grace after failing to capture the WWE Universal Championship? Which, like, it's funny too, because, dude, if you think about it, Cody failing to capture that title is basically what caused Triple H to be like, all right, if he can't do it, no one can. We need a new world title.
Yeah, that's very true. It is very true.
That was at the breaking point. Management was like, fuck. He was our last hope, and even he couldn't do it.
I thought we were gonna finish the story.
But yeah, so like I'm wondering if it'll be like continuing his fall from grace and he gets fucking destroyed by Brock like Cena did in 2012 SummerSlam. Or I don't know, was it 2014 SummerSlam? Whatever the
I
year
think
was.
2014, possibly. Yeah.
Or is it going to be like a competitive match and maybe Cody loses to continue the story of his sliding, or is it going to be the beginning of Cody's redemption where it's a hard fought match and Cody manages to sneak out the dub? I really don't know where it's going to go, honestly, but Brock's a fucking magical man. He's a miracle worker, and the story alone is just interesting to me. Of like, is Cody headed for a landslide, or is it just a speed bump on his way to being fucking rocket strapped all the way to the moon?
All right. And with that said, let's get into this card. So, what match do you want to talk about first?
Oh yeah, no, I never even really finished talking about what I'm excited about on the show because
Oh
like
yeah.
The six-man tag match, the Bloodline, and then Kevin, Matt, and Sammy. The match I'm sure will be fine, but I'm more curious if we get any interesting developments from the Usos having failed to recapture the tag titles.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't know, do you remember? I think it was like 2 or 3 SmackDowns ago where Paul Heyman was talking about solving the problem, and as he said the problem, he looked directly at the Usos from behind.
Yeah, and then he had that other promo where he said because the tribal chief is losing his patience with the two of you, and the
Oh,
Usos didn't even
so
see it, but Heyman was looking at them.
that's what I meant. I don't remember
Yeah.
exact phrasing, but the looking at the Usos while talking about something that they thought they were talking about Sammy and Kevin. That's what I was
Yeah.
talking about. I obviously just didn't remember the exact phrasing, but that's the exact promo that I was referring to. So I'm wondering if something happens here with Solo, Jimmy, and Jay, or if maybe they wait to do the fallout on SmackDown after.
Reigns is supposed to be on SmackDown next week, I thought I heard.
Okay, so that's in. Well, see, but that could be Reigns explaining why what happened at Backlash happened, or it could be Reigns making a decision. It could go either way in my mind.
Sure.
And then, yeah, dude, you already mentioned it though. The 2 women's championship matches, that is like double main event worthy to me. If they wanted to, I think you could legitimately get away with Rhea Zelina main eventing the show, but I think if you did, you'd have to have Zelina win the title.
Yeah, and there's just no
Which
way.
is why it's not happening, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the only 2 matches that I'm really dreading, and even then, I think dreading might even be taking it a little too far. But like Seth Omos, I'm just like, why? Why are they doing this? Are they really trying that hard to try and get Omos over? And like, in what way do they want Omos to be like a monster heel? And if so, aren't there better people to have Omos be a monster heel against? Like, can't you have him do like Ryback did and have him beat like 3 dudes at a time at the same time on a pay per view or something like that instead of sacrificing Seth Rollins at his altar?
Yeah.
And then the U.S. title triple threat. Jesus, can we please make the U.S. title interesting again?
Yeah, look, you know what? I'm gonna say my thoughts from when we formally go over this card, and
Okay, well,
then
you
yours are
already
gonna.
tried to get us there, so let's just get into the card. And you know what, dude? I think we might as well start with Rollins Omos because that is the sort of non-championship match that has no real stakes in it at all. Because the other non-title matches are like Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest, and that's the main event of the show, I've heard. But then like the other 2 are Cody Brock, which is important for storyline reasons, and then the 6-man tag, which is also, could have ramifications. So let's just talk about Rollins Omos.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go Rollins here. I think he
Really?
is gonna be in the finals of the world title tournament, and I think they really want to keep him built up. So I'm gonna
Didn't
say that
Rollins
Seth
beat
wins here.
Logan Paul at WrestleMania?
He did, yeah.
And what did Omos do at WrestleMania? Did he beat Lashley?
He lost to Brock Lesnar.
He lost to, so they okay, so I'm thinking Omos wins here.
Okay, so you're going Omos, I'm going
Yeah,
Rollins.
because
Okay.
Omos is coming off of a loss and Rollins is coming off of a dub. So it's like, Rollins has that like he's been built up now. He's got the dub behind him, and now it's like he can go back to perpetually jobbing again. And Omos coming off of a loss needs to look dominant again. They need to get him his heat back.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm still gonna stick with Rollins. But
Good.
I can
Because
see
if
where you're
you'd
coming from.
switch, we'd both be wrong.
Exactly. So next matchup.
Next matchup, I mean, shit. Would you rather just talk about the U.S. title match, or do you want to talk about one of the 2 non-main event, non-title matches with ramifications, like the 6-man tag or Cody Brock?
We can talk about the US title because personally I expect Theory to retain because he's going to SmackDown and SmackDown's gonna need like a mid card champion. And my thing is, dude, I think Lashley's above this fucking title. And Bronson Reed, if he wants to go after it again, I do think there's money in him versus Gunther in a Haas fight, just as like an easy defense for Gunther. Personally, I'll tell you right now, because Shinsuke's on Raw, and I'm just never gonna get my Shinsuke Roman Reigns program, which I'll admit I am a bit bitter about that. Um, I would pencil in Roman Reigns tentatively to face Lashley at SummerSlam. I think Lashley's a believable opponent. I think, they do have that history that they never really quite settled. So I think he's just like an ideal opponent just waiting in the wings. So you look at that, you look at Bronson, being on Raw, able to mix up with Gunther if he wants to. Theory also on SmackDown, but as the representative mid card champion, I just see Theory getting the win here, probably pinning Bronson Reed after a Lashley spear or some shit, like a picking the scraps sort of finish.
Oh.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go with Theory retaining.
Did you know that Lashley is also on SmackDown though?
I literally said that. I literally said with him on SmackDown, I feel like he's an
Okay.
ideal opponent for Reigns on SummerSlam.
I'm
That was
only
yeah,
I'm only even reiterating it, and not because admittedly I did hear you bring him up as an opponent for Roman. It just kind of didn't register, I guess.
right.
But I'm only saying that because you mentioned Theory keeping the title because he's on SmackDown, but like Lashley's also on SmackDown, so why couldn't he win the title here? I guess is my
Yeah, and my whole point was I think he's above the title, and I'm looking at him in the
okay.
Universal title. But that was my whole point about SummerSlam was he's above the US title
Yeah.
because he's already held it, he's already dominated with it. Like Theory's the guy right now, dude. Like this to him is what the Intercontinental title was to Orton in '04. They're giving him a strong mid card title run to me because
Oh.
I could see Theory back in the main event scene even this year. If I'm really just being truthful. So yeah.
I guess rip the band-aid off. I'll pick Theory too, but God, I really wish they. Honestly, at this point, if he's going to SmackDown, part of me almost thinks I would prefer Grayson Waller as U.S. champ to Austin Theory.
Unironically agree with you. And not only that, if I could just say, I don't want to take us too far afield here, which is why I didn't play with the whole thing earlier because I really do just want to keep it to the previewing of this card. I'm so happy Ali's in NXT because it just really settled in for me. He's never going to be a mid card champion on the main roster, even though he could so easily do that, like
Right.
so fucking easily. I'm really hoping Ali becomes North American champion this summer. Dude, fuck.
Nice.
If Austin Theory can be a fucking champion,
Yeah.
no reason why in our year Club Venus 2023 Ali can't be a champion. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, Theory to
You know
retain.
who would be the perfect next opponent for Austin Theory?
Who's that?
Cameron Grimes, baby.
Cameron Grimes would be, dude. I'm so fucking psyched for him.
Yes.
So psyched for him. Yeah. Well, next pay per view he's fucking on. We'll have a lot to talk about, believe me. But yeah. So we both agree on Theory then.
Yeah, we can call it. In theory, is going to be yeah. We'll agree on that, and we'll move on to let's move on to Cody Lesnar. I'm curious what you think about this one.
Honestly, bro, I think you made salient points earlier talking about, Cody's story and where they could go. I think Lesnar's winning this. I think everything you and I have ever said about Cody is bearing fruit right now in the sense that this dude has a pathological need to be liked. And, people like a winner, sure, but they like a winner that struggles. A winner that makes it look easy isn't a winner. It's just somebody that, it's effortless to them. But
They're not
Cody
relatable
finally having
anymore.
exactly, they're
If
not
it's too
relatable
easy.
anymore. And, Brock being a free agent, he's going to go after that Raw World title. He's going to win that very soon. I don't want him to be the first champion. I still think it would make sense for Seth to be the first champion, personally. But I could see Cody losing the match to Brock and then, like, the tournament, not necessarily as, like, his last chance to make it right, but Cody is all existential and
Yeah.
melodramatic about everything. So it's like, I've lost to Roman, I've lost to Brock. I've got to win this world title. I've got, for whatever arbitrary reason he comes up with that he chooses to take it out on us instead of on his therapist. So I just think, yeah, Brock's winning. I think the road is going to continue to be steep for Cody Rhodes. So yeah, I'm going Brock. How are you feeling?
I mean, as we say, after all, fuck Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I would say you're probably right. Um, God, it's interesting though because if Brock does win here, what's next for either one of them? I feel like it's one of those situations where because of the Cody character, if Brock wins, there has to be a rematch and probably sooner than later. Do we get a rematch at Night of Champions in Saudi?
See, bro, that's the funny thing. I'm only saying no because I really do picture that it's going to be Seth Cody in the finals, and then Seth wins that match because Cody's already beaten him 3 times. So I just picture Cody like on this losing streak of big matches. But then, like, the natural question would be, just to be fair and just to show that I'm not dumping on Cody and I have some semblance of self-awareness, the story would be, okay, you have him on this losing streak of big matches. What do you dovetail that into? Because it has to have a payoff. You can't keep him on the back burner
Oh
forever, as
God,
much as
he's
I would
gonna
love
win
that.
Money in the Bank, isn't he?
Possibly. I am thinking about because dude,
Or
here's my thing
or
too.
worse, he enters the Royal Rumble from one next year and wins it that way, so that he does it quote unquote the right way.
Dude, I'll be honest. I have thought about Cody as a two-peat for Rumble.
And
That's
dude, that
definitely
would be
crossed
the
my mind.
story too. Would be that last year it was too easy. He entered at 30, and the last guy that he had to beat was the guy that entered at 1, and it was like it was almost handed to him. But then he loses in the main event of WrestleMania, and he has to actually work his way back up to the top and go through adversity and fight through it. And oh my God, that's what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, I really think it's this arduous
Dude, what if
path
he
for
wins
him.
Money in the Bank and fails the cash in to continue the story?
That would be hilarious. And I just want to say about Money in the Bank very quickly, because it's in the UK. I just have this gut feeling. Now I will admit, for anybody that's not a longtime viewer of the show, Money in the Bank's my favorite pay per view. So maybe I'm coping right now. Maybe this is me huffing copium really hard. But I have to feel like because the venue is so significant as it being in the UK, they're gonna give a shit about this pay per view more than they have in recent years. So I feel like the ladder matches are both gonna be pretty stacked, which isn't to say that the Rumble winners will be good, or excuse me,
Oh,
the Money in the Bank winners will be good, but just a thought, right? But
yeah.
yeah, just to keep it all together, I think Cody loses here, and I think Cody loses in Saudi, and maybe Money in the Bank is where he starts turning around. But then, see, can I
No,
just say
dude, that's
something
what
too?
I think is going to happen. I think you're right.
Yeah,
He's going to lose here. He's going to lose in Saudi, but then he's going to win Money in the Bank and fail the cash in. That's the story. He's going to fail the cash in, but then he's going to have to build himself back up again. It's like, all right, try again, and then he's going to win the Rumble from the 1 spot or maybe the 2 spot. It doesn't matter. They're the same thing. And that's how he's going to win the title. That's what it's going to be.
can I just ask one quick? Because I don't want to stay on this topic too long. Because fuck Cody Rhodes, and we have better things to talk about. But I'm morbidly curious what you in our chat thinks. Who thinks that Cody, because he's such like a white knight character, and again this pathological need to be liked, that he would do a clean cash in, and he would tell the
Oh,
champion
dude,
to
for
their
sure.
face
I
when he's
wouldn't be
cashing in?
surprised at all if he was Roman's WrestleMania opponent.
Yeah. Oh my
He
god, dude,
wins
can you
Money in the
imagine if they
Bank.
ran
He
this shit?
cashes in at WrestleMania. He fails. He loses the match. He fails in the main event of of SummerSlam. I mean, and then it's like, oh my God, he's lost to Roman at the 2 biggest pay-per-views of the year this year. How can it possibly get any worse? And it's like, no, this is his rock bottom. And then he starts building himself back up, and maybe he even leaves for a while. Maybe we don't see him at all for the month of like September and maybe even October. And then like he comes back and like maybe he's like the saving grace of a Survivor Series team and helps put them over the top and actually helps them win the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. And then he has like a triumphant TLC match where maybe he beats Brock Lesnar even, or someone that he's lost to. And then Royal Rumble comes around. He gets the 1 slot. He enters first. Maybe he even requests to enter first, and he fucking wins the thing and goes to WrestleMania to win the title from Roman.
It's so noxious,
Well,
Jesus
good. Maybe
Christ.
maybe that's why they had him do it so early, had him win the Rumble and then challenge Roman so early, was because everyone's saying, "Oh, well, the story's not there. The story's not there. It would make no sense for Roman to drop the title to someone that he doesn't have any kind of history with." They wanted to create the history so that when he does drop the title to Cody, no one can say that anymore because the history would be there. They're doing it as we speak. They literally just had Cody lose to Roman. They're going to have him lose to him again at SummerSlam. And then they're going to have him finally win the title after they've created a history between the two guys at next year's Mania. That's what it's going to be.
WWE be like, we're giving you the history so he can finish his story.
Oh
Go
my
fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Eat my whole fucking ass.
ass and all, or hole and all,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. All right,
Uh,
man. What matchup do you want to talk about next since we're in agreement about this one?
uh, well, let's do the 6-man tag. Let's do the 6-man tag. It's Riddle, Owens, and Zayn versus the Bloodline. Dude, I think this is clear as hell that the baby faces are winning here.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing. I
I
knew we were
think
going to
one of
disagree
the
on this.
Usos
Yeah.
eats the pin here.
This is tough for me because you
Okay,
are
I'm
making a
curious
lot of
your
sense.
logic. Please talk.
Well, yeah, sure, I can do that. I just feel like Solo's a beast, and for me, it's going to be the Bloodline wins, but because of Solo, it's going to make the
Uh,
Usos look incompetent, but Solo handles business, which is why Roman's been giving him more responsibility. Like, there's a reason why Roman made Solo a part of the package deal on night 1, and with the Usos, they made him sweat it out a bit before they got drafted back to SmackDown. Yeah, I honestly am kind of in agreement with Kirby. I think it'd be hilarious if Solo pinned Riddle again. And I'm inclined to feel that way, but you do make a good point. If they lose again because of the Usos, you know Roman's going to run out of patience, and then it's going to be a whole thing and what have you. But I'm only inclined to say Bloodline because Sammy and Kevin just retained the tag titles against the Usos, and Solo was neutralized. So I feel like the Bloodline needs to kind of flex, especially with Roman not on this show. So I don't know. But then that could be all the more reason because if Roman's not on the show, right, and Bloodline loses, he could all be like, "Oh, so when I'm away and I trust you guys take care of business, you can't do it." But he's more talking to the Usos than he is to Solo.
Yeah,
So this
part
is
of me
difficult.
even wonders if we're going to have one of those moments that's like a malfunction at the junction where one or even both of the Usos super kick Solo and that knocks him out, and that leads to the finish where one of the Usos ends up getting isolated and pinned.
Yeah. Hmm. You know what? Tentatively, I'm gonna agree with you. I'll say the babyfaces win, but I am keeping in the back of my mind that they really are building Solo up incredibly well.
Yeah.
And I could just see him getting the
I
winning
do
pin and
think they're
being
going to
like,
go
yeah,
out of their way in this match to make sure that Solo is like intentionally, like, as far as like I'm talking about the way the match is booked, I think that the booking is going to intentionally make it clear that Solo was basically sabotaged. Like, obviously, it could be unintentional on the Usos' part, but I think that like it's basically going to tell the story of if Solo hadn't gotten fucked over, they wouldn't have lost.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's
Roman could even swerve us with his return next Friday, where it's like he's lecturing Solo, and then he pivots to really lecturing the Usos because he sees that like Solo was holding down business until the Usos screwed it up. Yeah,
uh, he's like, I entrusted you to hold down business while I was gone taking care of my business, and you did a pretty damn good job until they got involved.
yeah. And then Jay's like, "Oh shit." Those fucking flashbacks. All right, we're in agreement then. Babyfaces will win.
Roman hits Jay with one of his titles. What did I do?
Still one of the funniest moments in the Bloodline storyline.
All right,
God.
so let's get into our next match, which can be I don't know. We only have 3 matches left. It's the 2 women's titles and Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Which one do you want to talk about?
You know, I know Bad Bunny versus Priest is going to main event, but it's not really my main event. I would say
True.
that's more Bianca
Good point.
Io.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that next.
Cool. All right. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Um, Low key, I think Priest wins.
Low key, I disagree. No, I'm just kidding. But no, why do you think Priest is going to win? Do you
You
just feel
know,
like
it's
he's
one
just
of
going to
those things where,
overwhelm
like,
them?
if we're thinking with like house show logic and like it's a filler pay-per-view, which a lot of the time they get treated like house shows, it would make all the sense in the world for Bad Bunny to get the dub, send the crowd home happy. It's like, of course, you know. But
Yeah,
like, God, they've been doing a really good job of make Priest feel legit lately and making him almost feel like the leader of the bloodline or the Judgment Day. But then again, I don't know. Maybe it's a better story if he loses to Bad Bunny because of the bloodline and then like breaks away from them because of it, or even like they kick him out because he loses to Bad Bunny and made them look bad or something. It just feels like Priest has been standing out from the bloodline in a good way, like the or not the bloodline. I keep saying the bloodline, the
yeah.
Judgment
You
Day.
keep saying the Bloodline. I'm like,
He,
you want that
sorry,
Bloodline Judgment Day feud?
they will. We kind of got like a merger for a brief moment in time, but anyway, no, like
Yeah.
no. What I'm saying though is like maybe like it just feels like he's been standing out from the Judgment Day in a good way, and I'm wondering if they're gonna like stick with maybe like Balor, Mysterio, and Rhea as like their own thing, and then like Priest gets a face turn out of the whole thing.
Yeah, bro, if I may, because I'm just gonna cut in and keep it real simple on my side of things. I think Bad Bunny wins, and I think he wins because Dominic Mysterio's a little shit, and he costs Priest. Because I agree with you, they've been making Priest look legit, and that's kind of the problem. Like, not the problem in the sense that like we need to fix it, but it's more just the storyline issue. Priest is becoming too legit for this fucking group,
Yeah,
and like I think Dominic, here's how I really see it. Dominic costs him, but Dominic's such a little shit that he blames it on Priest. Like he gets the big head, like, oh, I would have handled it. I would have beaten Bad Bunny, which this all started because he got punked by Bad Bunny twice.
yeah,
And Priest reminds him of that. And so it's really Priest and Dom having beef because, Dom has never been as much of an ass kisser with, or excuse me, Priest has never been as much of an ass kisser with Dom as Finn has, trying to build him up, and of course Rhea being the mommy of the group.
Right.
And Priest is just kind of over it. So Priest, I think, is going to turn babyface at the end of all this. I think
Yeah.
he's going to get excommunicated from Judgment Day.
And you
I've been
know what?
hearing rumors they might get a new member, so I don't know about
Oh,
that.
that'll be fun. And you know what doesn't lead to face turns is winning as a heel. So I'm gonna actually sign on with you and say Bad Bunny wins.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dominic. You shit.
Yeah.
All
Anyway,
right.
good call on that one. So let's get into Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. I really have enjoyed this feud. What it comes down to is, you already know I love Rhea Ripley, but I love it when Zelina Vega actually gets a push, man. She's so good.
She is, and she's a wonderful person. She has said that being a face is weird for her, just because she really doesn't like most people, which, I mean, mood. And,
What's that
she's
called
just like
again? There's a word for that.
misanthropic.
Thank you.
Look at me. God, I'm amazing. But yeah, she doesn't really like most people, but she's kind of finding her footing as a face. It is interesting that Ray apparently is going to be in her corner, and Dominic, of course, is going to be in Rhea's corner. So I have to wonder how that's all
Dude, did you see the
gonna
main
go.
event of SmackDown tonight?
No, I did not. What was it?
It was a mixed tag match. It was Dom and Rhea versus Ray and Zelina.
Oh, nice. Who won?
Ray and Zelina.
Oh, wow. Did Zelina pin Rhea just kind of get in her head, or did Ray pin Dom?
Ray pinned Dom.
I figured.
Yeah,
God,
I
Dom.
was gonna say, come on now.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, Dom?
Yeah, I do love Zelina. I think she's great, and I think that in the context of like a Stardom, she'd be even better. I know she's been in Stardom before because she's worked with Chris Wolf before, which is how we know that she's 4'9", because Chris Wolf is like on the record as being 4'10", and she's also been on the record as saying the only woman she's ever worked with that was shorter than her was Thea Trinidad. So like when I say Thea Trinidad, when I say Zelina Vega is 4'9", that's the ceiling. That's as high, like that's the
Wow.
maximum of her height.
Way to get put on blast for being a shrimp ass. God damn.
Dude, I think in America she would considered legally a dwarf.
Uh, hey,
I'm
I
pretty
have friends in
sure.
the dwarfism community, so shout out to
Yeah,
dwarves and
I'm
dwarfism.
pretty sure that if
Yeah.
you're shorter than 4'10" tall, you can legally be considered a dwarf in the U.S.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's wild,
it
bro.
is
But
wild. But yeah,
yeah.
she's just so tiny, man. She's like, I
She's
love
a
her.
human shrinky dink.
She's an incredible performer, but it makes sense that she's out here teaming with Rey Mysterio because she really is like that small relative to the rest of the women in her division, the way that Rey is compared to the men in his division.
Yeah, she's the shrinky dink of the women's division. You love to see it. Um, I will say, like, in all sincerity, I love that we're getting a fresh fucking matchup for one of the titles. Like, this just feels so new and so different. And I really commend them for that, even if they are only pandering to the crowd in Puerto Rico, which, hey, nothing wrong with pandering when you get a match like this. Obviously, I think it's going to be a retention for Rhea,
Dude,
but
that
I'm
was the.
hoping that
Oh, I'm
Zelina.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I'm hoping that Zelina has, like, a gutsy babyface performance. What were you going to
That's
say?
what I was gonna actually just talk about. Was I just think it's so cool because I was just talking about the SmackDown main event because tonight SmackDown was also in Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
I
Nice.
just
Good
think it's
shit.
so cool that Zelina got to main event a WWE show, even if it wasn't the pay per view. It's just so cool that she got to main event a WWE show in. I don't know if was she born in Puerto Rico or is she just born in New York?
I think she was born in New York, but she has roots in Puerto Rico. That's how I understood it. I
Yeah,
could be wrong though.
she's of Puerto Rican descent, but she's not actually like born in Puerto Rico.
Right.
But still though, like to be able to trace your origin back to that and be able to main event a show in your, a country that you have roots in.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say a country. It's a territory. It should be a fucking state by this point. Christ.
Yeah.
But still, that's just so cool because that's the thing with I almost call her Thea. That's her real name. With Zelina though is that like she's this incredible performer that can do literally everything that you could possibly want a wrestler to do except reach the items on the top shelf of a grocery store.
Yeah. God damn. Nice.
It's
Nice.
true though. That's her only flaw, quote unquote flaw, in the world of pro wrestling is just her height. That's it. She's great. She's fucking incredible. When I first saw her as I think Rosita, right? She was Rosita in TNA.
Yeah, that's right.
I legitimately, I was like, oh my god, she looks like a Latina Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. And like, and then you see her in the ring, and it's like, holy shit, she's like actually legit as like a lucha style wrestler. And then like she can talk, she does fucking accents for Christ's sake. Bro, how many different times have we heard her talk with ridiculous like when she was first in NXT, she had this weird like pseudo Brooklyn accent. We recently heard her use the fucking British accent when she was Queen Zelina.
Yeah.
She's so talented, and yet 95% of the time she's either doing nothing or managing or valeting someone else, some dude. But that 5% when she actually gets pushed as a wrestler is glorious. And the fact that she's being pushed as a wrestler, it's like the 5% is aligning up with the tour of Puerto Rico, and I love it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. I'm really, really freaking happy for her. In fact, when I knew this match was happening, the first thing I did was, tweet at her how proud we were, of her and happy
Yeah,
we were for her.
yeah.
Because, yeah, like, God knows wrestlers don't get enough love on social media, and the love they do gets kind of creepy. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to praise her because we praise Rhea all the damn time.
We
Because
do,
while
yeah.
she's also incredibly talented and really good at what she does, she's also featured appropriately for her talent.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And because she's winning this match. So, like,
Yes, yes.
we don't need to put over the winner anymore. We know she's winning.
Yeah, hopefully it's a great match. So, and now on to our personal main event, which should hopefully fucking slap. It's Bianca Belair, the unstoppable steamroller versus Io
Dude,
Sky.
did you see their segment from tonight on SmackDown?
I did with damage control shoving Bianca into Io and then Io getting the
Yes.
drop kick. Yeah, dude,
Yes.
that's just to rip the band-aid off real quick. That's exactly why Bianca's winning, because this isn't Io's story in that way. Her story
Yeah.
is the disintegration of damage control.
Why is damage control mirroring the Judgment Day right now?
I don't know.
It's true though. Io is the Damian Priest. They're both too legit for their factions, and they're gonna have babyface turns and get shot up to the moon because of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. If Io goes full babyface, which I am hoping for, you've got my heavy favorite to win Women's Money in the Bank this year. I would really have her
Oh
hold on to that fucking
God, but
briefcase.
I can't agree because Money in the Bank is such a heel thing, and we both have Cody winning it now.
True, yeah, but that's for men's, and keep in mind for women's, Liv did win it last year, so babyface did win very recently. It's not like I have to dig
Actually,
that far for
didn't we
precedent.
talk about this? And for the women's Money in the Bank, it's almost always won by baby faces.
Usually, because Bailey was a babyface when she cashed in. Liv won last year again. Who won before her?
Asuka.
Asuka, yeah.
Asuka was
I, the
2020, and she was a baby face.
The only thing I don't like, and I know this, God, I wish I'd be saving this commentary for the actual Money in the Bank preview and predictions, but I know we're still a little ways off. I wish that they'd let the women briefcase holders actually feel like briefcase holders, because
Yeah,
Liv
because they
cashed
all
in the same
cash in
fucking night.
immediately. No, they all do, dude.
Yeah,
They every
yeah,
single women's Money in the Bank holder, except Carmella. Carmella being the only exception because of the whole story with her not actually winning it because of Ellsworth and all that bullshit. Every single women's Money in the Bank holder since Carmella, I believe, has cashed in. I want to say within a week, if not within the same day.
yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous. I'd like to see if Io won it. I would love to see her wait until Bailey got a championship back. If that ever fucking
Because I
happens, I'd
remember
love to
when
live in that
Bliss won
timeline.
it, she cashed it in the same night.
Yeah,
Asuka cashed it in the next night, technically, even though she wasn't really cashing it in. She just swapped it out for the title.
yeah, because Becky was. That's right.
Yeah, like it's the women never really get to be Miss Money in the Bank.
And I want that for them. I want that so bad. And I feel like
But
Io
again,
would be
that's
a
a heel
fascinating
thing.
choice.
And all that's
Yeah,
maybe that's why it's not a thing though, because most of the women that win Money in the Bank are baby faces.
true. But I feel like Io, because we've talked about this to death, and especially you, because you're more plugged in overall in the Stardom lore than I am.
Yeah.
Like she's hyper competitive and she wants to bring out the best in everybody because she wants to be the best, and you can only be the best if the people you beat around you are already fucking great.
Yeah.
So it's like, I could see her carrying that briefcase around, like owning the division, bringing out the best in everybody, and then Bailey, again, I'd love to live in this fucking timeline, wins a title again, because I feel like that's been too fucking long. And yeah, collision course, Bailey, Io, fucking beautiful.
You know
So
why
yeah.
though? Even if Io would win the Money in the Bank, why I wouldn't expect her to hold it for long and be like that Miss Money in the Bank?
Why is that?
Promos.
True. I wish WWE would fucking get over that. But yeah, whatever. I still am keeping her in my back pocket as a favorite. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
that's
I
fair.
do think she's gonna go baby. It would be interesting if Bailey would win as a heel. That could be a lot of fucking
That,
fun, but she's already won Money in the
bro,
Bank.
that is what the fuck I'm talking about. Especially because she cannot beat Bianca.
No, she can't. And imagine though, if Io got another shot, because Bianca is on SmackDown, as is Io per the draft. If she got another shot at Bianca without damage control, she wins, and then Bailey shits on her moment and cashes in on her.
SummerSlam, dude. SummerSlam. Io loses here, but turns face within the next month or two, and then challenges Bianca in a more honorable way, in a way that's like respectful, like, mutual respect. The way they do a lot of face versus face matches at SummerSlam, I noticed. So they could do that at SummerSlam. Io wins, Bailey cashes in immediately and fucks her shit up, and then we get the Bailey Io feud. Fuck yeah.
Because I've been insistent, with certain people on Twitter, especially poor Chrissy, who I know loves damage control, and she's like, damage control is fine, and it's like she knows it's not,
Who's
and we all know
this?
it's not. This is Chrissy, who's also an Utami stan. What's her actual handle?
Oh, this is a
She's really
Twitter
great.
user that I don't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's at damage controller. She is now, but damage is actually spelled out. It's not abbreviated. But
Damage
yeah.
isn't the abbreviated part, it's control, it's CTRL.
Well, no, well, for the faction, yes, I'm talking about for her Twitter handle, just to
Right.
refer people to who I'm talking about, because then it's controller with an A at the end, so not controller.
So
Um,
controlla is spelt out though.
yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yes, she's a big Damage Control and Queen's Quest fan. She's going through a lot
Nice.
of heartache right now.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
And
Jeez.
yeah, I know it's a rough time right now for Damage Control. But yeah, I've been saying for a while that I think the money matchup is Io Bailey. Like that is the big main roster feud for Io to
Io
really get her
Bianca, I
fucking.
think, is a pretty big money match too, and we'd be getting at least two of those. Plus, I'm assuming Io would then defend the title against Bianca down the line as like a third sort of like rubber match.
I don't disagree. I just mean more in the sense of what really gets Io established on the main roster. Like, okay, she's here. We're letting her loose. Let's go. And I think Bailey is that feud. In terms of matches, yeah, the Bianca match is going to do a lot for Io, I think, especially if they get time. But as far as feuds go, Bailey's very giving in her feuds.
True.
I think, honestly, it was because of the feud with Bailey that Bianca reached the status that she did. I think Bailey is a huge part of her success that we
Yeah.
don't really talk about a lot.
True.
Because, I mean, I was even watching old clips a few weeks ago, and I'm actually surprised I didn't talk about this on a Twit Well and Review episode because I should have. But the whole obstacle course and everything else, that whole segment, I feel like that was a legendary segment that really put Bianca on
That
the
made
map.
Bianca. You're right. That really
Yeah,
did do a lot for Bianca for sure for
and
her
and the
character.
way Bailey kind of sold that segment of
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I can't stop this girl, and then when she just threw the basketball in her stomach and just beat the crap out of her, it's like, wow, you're such a petty bitch.
Bro, I
Um,
just realized all three of the remaining four horsewomen that are in WWE are on SmackDown.
that's wild, dude. Um, I will say for me, it's a bit disappointing only because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I miss babyface Bailey now. Like she's gotten to the point where Sammy was for a while, where it's like, okay, I've seen your range as a heel. I kind of want to see what kind of an evolved babyface you would be now because you have grown up and you're no longer like this hugger or whatever.
Right.
But clearly WWE still isn't ready for that,
Not
and
yet.
they're keeping Bailey as a heel, which like,
I
But
think before the end of 2024, we will see a babyface Bailey again.
I hope so, man, because I'm ready for it. And it's really something when I say it, because I'm all about like being a piece of
Heels,
shit in
yeah.
wrestling. Like I'm like, yeah, kick that child, fuck him. But no, in this case, I'm like,
They
yeah,
didn't
Bailey,
deserve comfort.
no, they really didn't. But in this case, I'm like, no, Bailey, no, come on back, show us kindness again. But yeah, Io Bianca's gonna slap. I just think Bianca she retains. I will say though, dude, I love your thinking where like the damage control storyline kind of envelops the Bianca title reign story, and Io does get her rematch at SummerSlam, wins, and Bailey cashes in on her. I
Yeah.
think that'd be incredible. I would love that. I give that all the chef's kisses. And really, the only question would be, where does that leave Dakota? But I have to imagine Dakota would be on Bailey's side because she helped Bailey shove Bianca into Io tonight. So I think Dakota goes with Bailey, and then Io's just kind of on her own. And yeah, could be interesting.
All right, that's it.
All right, I will say that I'm probably more firmly in that 5 category, mainly for the women's matches because I feel like the shine that we gave the women got me really excited, and yeah, should be a decent show. It's probably one of those shows where like it'll be better than I expect it to be, and like you said, it's cozy because you're only paying $5 for it, and I know our chat's always good. And speaking of being good, I've been watching the numbers all stream. This stream was wild. Our viewers were oscillating, but we got 17 fucking likes on this. Holy shit.
Gosh,
I don't know
diggity
where you
dang.
guys I don't know where you guys fucking came from because I didn't do any promotion for this show or anything. I was just really cozy and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Because this really is like a C show to me. I like WWE even knows the Saudi show's the bigger show. But you guys really showed out and I really fucking appreciate it. So yeah, guys, really appreciate it. Be sure to like the video as you file out. And if you haven't already, God, like the video, subscribe, so you and click the bell icon so you don't miss any of that troll goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 for Twit Wow in review. Can't wait to talk about AEW again. That's really chaps my ass. And then live reacting to Backlash at 8. So yeah, we got a doubleheader on Saturday and then nothing Sunday. So yeah, we'll see you guys then. Until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.